it was mostly focused on the DSA part. So in the Expedia, first I got the OA test, basically online assessment test. In the Paytm, like the tech stack was I was using in the Node.JS, React.js. I was working also some part of the front end. Don't go solving like 400, 500 questions. Solve at least minimum 150 questions. That are the basic part of the each one.
Ever wondered what it takes to build real-time system for million of users? Today we are talking to someone who has done it. Himanshu Yadav, ex-software developer at Paytm, where he has worked on critical systems like Paytm processing, WebSocket connections and more. But that's not where the story ends. Himanshu recently made the leap to Expedia, one of the world's biggest travel tech platforms, where he's now working on building systems that literally move the world. From managing microseconds in finance to scaling experience in travel, we are unpacking the journey of Himanshu today. The switch, the mindset shift and everything you want to know. In this video, we are going to cover his domain shift, his interview journey in Paytm versus Expedia, tech hurdles in interviews, role and tech stack. Hi Himanshu, it's great having you here with us today. So before we move further with the podcast, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Thank you so much, Suti, for having me. So myself, Himanshu Yadav, and I'm currently working here in the Expedia as SD2. Before here, I was working in the Paytm as SD1, where my work was in the payment gateway side, and here in the Expedia, I'm working on the travel side in the flight section. So yeah, that thing all in the work life things, and I graduated in 2022. So I think yeah, that is all.
Nice. So, what were the biggest mindset shifts required when moving from the finance domain like Paytm to travel like Expedia?
As a developer, you usually do not see that much, like you do not go into that deep key, like you think like what work you are going to do in the development side. And when it comes to the domain, as long as you're like see the domain in the development is either data science or it's development or it's SRE, all these things we have. So here when I was changing from fintech to travel depart side, so my mind was to check like if they have the similar background, how their development is, how they were doing so much so much in the work in the like larger scale. So that was my focus.
Oh, so before we move further, ये हमारे audience का favorite question रहता है. So can you please walk us through your Paytm interview experience, and then after that we'll move to your Expedia interview experience. So let's start with the Paytm interview experience.
Yep, the Paytm one, it was directly in my college. Like after the third year, we had this placement session where I had a chance to give the interview in the Paytm. So that was basically because we were the graduate, we did not have any much experience in the development. So at that time, it was mostly focused on the DSA part, and we had 2 rounds of the DSA, then one HR round. We had also a test to give, also to just to pass to give the interview side. So I had that also, and after that, like yeah, the interview went well and I joined the Paytm. So that was all.
So to be more specific, there were how many rounds and what each round focuses on? If you can just explain, it would be very beneficial for our audience watching.
Both technical round. The first technical round was basically it was for the DSA. It was based on the binary tree. So they just asked me a binary tree question, and then there was some follow up regarding that. Some base cases and some edge cases regarding that. The second round was for an binary search basically, and there was also the same thing. It was medium level lead code question, and after that, like when we were trying to solve that question, he also asked me some DP explanations, some like OS, some DBMS questions as well. And then we also talked about the volleyball, because at that time we both were playing, and I explained him my hobbies playing volleyball. So yeah, 15 minutes we talked about the volleyball, and I was like, man, is this interview or not? So that was also there. And yeah, the HR round was totally like, it was 7 minute round. She just called, she just asked bluntly 5 to 10 question, and I was just giving yes, yes, I know this, I know this, yes, 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 I would do this, I would do this. And after 7 10 minutes he said, yeah, welcome to Paytm. So yeah, that was that was all from the Paytm side.
So there was just 3 rounds, two
Yeah.
technical rounds and one HR round in
Yes,
Paytm.
yes.
Okay, great. So moving to your Expedia present company, how many rounds were there and what each round focuses on?
So in the Expedia, first I got the OA test, basically online assessment test, and after that I had three, basically four rounds. Two were the like lead code, two were the DSA technical session for the DSA, one for the system design, one for the managerial round, for basically HR round that we say. So in the DSA round, the first two one, like there were two question in both rounds. First of all, the first one, here I also asked in the first round the binary tree, and there was a string question in there. And in the second round, I don't remember exactly what was the question. It was somehow it was somehow like the recursion part. And the second one was I was not able to solve because there was no time was left. I was just gave you the answer. And then after that I had the manager round first. And because my system design round was got rescheduled, so I had managerial round. And then in that, basically you get to ask all the behavioral part, ki how would you approach in how, what is your thought in this situation, how would you do this in this situation. That is those are the things were there in that time period. And other than that, like then I had the system design where he asked me to design basically book my show. So I had to design book my show. The LLD part, it was mostly consist of the LLD, not HLD. And yeah, I think yes, I do remember that interview very quite well, because I was in Goa and I was partying, and then I had to give this interview. So yeah, that interview I cannot forget.
And but that interview went well,
Oh,
and you are
that,
at Expedia
yes,
while partying at Goa.
yeah, yeah.
Nice. So there were four rounds in Expedia.
Yes.
Nice. So how many days or time what was given to you to make that LLD design of Book My Show?
How much time? Like it's one hour. It's 1 hour interview, basically the same interview like as the technical
Oh, so
session.
within that hour,
So
okay.
within that hour, he would ask, I would have to design all the like components and all. It's not like I have to design whole components and run this. It's just that I have to like give them a running code scenario.
So now that you have an experience of Paytm interview also or Expedia interview also, so what do you think? What was the major difference you noticed while giving interview at both the companies?
The first time when I was giving, like it was from my college, so my thought process was like doing DSA, explaining in terms of like in terms of the solutioning. That was my thought process, not like the problem solutioning approach, everything. So that comes with the experience. When I was giving the interview in the Expedia, at that time I knew okay, like development also takes part of it. So I added that experience in my Expedia interview. I explained the scenarios, how in the real life we tackle those scenario, how like in the book my so interview, how is the things like what I have learned in the basically Paytm. So I attached that like I added that parts in the interview. So that helps with the experience. You get to help, like you get the explaining part easily, because that is the most important part, the communication anytime, and with the time you get it.
Nice. So, now at Expedia, what are you working with and how different is the tech stack and what was learning curve like?
So in the Expedia, currently I'm in the connectivity team, basically flight connectivity team. And here, basically my work is totally in the backend. In the Paytm, like the tech stack was I was using in the Node.js, React.js. I was working also some part of the front end. Here I'm totally working in the backend in the Expedia. And other than Node.js and the React.js, I also worked in the Java in the Paytm also last 3 months basically. And after that, when I like in the Expedia, currently I'm working in the Java, Spring Boot, Scala, some part of it. And so in terms of the tech stack, it's not that much of different, but it's more wider. It's the consumer base is more wider, so that also you can see the impact, you can also see those part also. So and in terms of the learning curve is basically like both of the places I got too much to learn, like with the people, with my own learning space, in the like when I joined the Paytm, I did not know anything about the Node.js, React.js, or anything at all. So that learning also helped me, that like when you get to know about the new knowledge or anything, so that learning, that pacing helped me to learn new things. Like I get the confidence that I can switch to anything, like any language, or it's just a matter of the time. And that confidence helps me with the Expedia. When I again started working in the Java, there is Scala, there are other different components here, also Kotlin and everything. So I got to know about those things also, ki like yeah, I can work it. So learning is quite great. I got to learn about SQS. I got to learn about like AWS services and deployment, and most of the things that is like keep me in growth, and also the keep me my in my learning phase.
Great, Himanshu. Happy to know that you are learning and growing in your life. And what's one thing you would tell someone preparing for roles in top companies like Paytm or Expedia? And any advice you wish you had when you were starting out?
In the starting out, I would have said ki like do more practice in the like in lead code and in the in DSA parts. I had that much of practice, but it's not always like what I did is started with it. Like I just keep doing the lead code. Like there was no plan for me, but like I would suggest for newcomers to make a plan. Don't go solving like 400 500 questions. Solve at least minimum 150 questions that are the basic part of the each one. But don't just start solving that. First start with the easy questions, build your confidence, then start with all the components, pattern, and all the topics, so that you get the confidence. And when like even if you have basic knowledge of some part in the interview, you can explain that basic part, and based on that, it's all about the problem solving. So it's not about like if you are able to solve that question, maybe that question you would like you would have never seen. So at that time, all you have to do is think about how kind of solution, what pattern have you seen, and then use that knowledge there. So I would suggest that to do that first in the learning phase, and also do more project, get more like experience in the all the real world experience, create projects. Then you would see what kind of impact you are making, and what kind of things, like what kind of issue, what kind of error, when you solve that, you get the confidence. So yeah, that is.
So, means structured, plan, and hands-on experience, real-life projects. These are very important things when a person is starting out in a company.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So it was great having you here with us, Himanshu, today. And thank you so much for answering all the questions so nicely and patiently. And yeah.
Okay, yeah, same here. Thank you so much for having me.
And to everybody listening, your story is building up too. Stay consistent, stay humble until we meet again.